in the box there. Our pole sitter, Jeff Mundy, just a little bit back, but it's Pete Muleman in the menacing black Mustang. The Coupe just gets off the road there. Massive wheel spin back in the grid there. I think that's Tony Hubbard, a guy that knows all about horsepower, but he's disappeared into his own tyre smoke and charging down to turn one. It's a big push up the outside by the black and yellow HQ, and we'll see how that plays out. The Kiwi getting around the outside there. That's the number 20 of Myers. The 4-door, and it is on fire now. The 68 just trying to muscle his way through. That's Jeff Mundy. Have a look at the 22, Brett Trengove, who last year at this particular race won the race, and his best lap time was a 1:22.98. So already threatening in a position there for the podium, and they go up the back straight.
They certainly do, Darren. You see there the 6-cylinder Holdens. You can see there's a little bit of a gap between the HTCs and also the HQ Holdens. Andrew Magilton, right beside him, Craig Lowndes, Steve Bank, Truman McDonald got a fairly good start. Eric Hill, 91 car, the green car, fantastic to see him as they come up over the top. And then we got into Dandy Corner with the big powerful V8s. Magilton there.
Come down into Dandenong Road. This is the classic spot for HQs. Lock up the front, slide down there. How good is it to see Adam Lowndes returning to HQs this weekend? Normally, and has been for a number of seasons now, a saloon car racer, but had the HQ in the shed. There we go. There's the lock up on the loaded front, and he is back in the fray. How cool is that?
Fantastic. You can see him coming onto the front straight. There's Warren Truan. He's got in front of Steve Banks. So, and of course,
rain.
This is Sandown. Turn one, we've got a bit of rain.
And turn one is the slipperyest part of the track there. Peter Muleman, he led the first lap of competition in the 2025 Trico Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. The 68 of Jeff Munday goes off. The 22 of Brett Trengove, the guy that won this race last year. He wants to lead the race. He does, because Munday just gets out wide there. But there's Pete Muleman. He has the auspicious honour of leading the first race of the Trico 2025 Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. The rain has come belting down on the bottom end of the track. In fact, where we are, there's no rain at all. We're in the main straight here. Around goes the Magilton car.
Oh, that's Andrew Magilton, the 14 car. He was at the front of the field. Now he's going all the way back. That's the old man in the 75 car, Mick Magilton there. Magilton Electrical, for all your electrical compliances and things like that. Go see those guys. So Andrew has to come all the way back through. But have a look at this. Warren Truan, he's back. He normally has a 2-door Monaro, you would see. But he's got the 77 car. We've got him. We've then got Banks right beside him. Then we've got Crawford, also in the 68 car, doing extremely well. But in front of them, look at this, mate. Dry. No rain here, no rain in Dandy Corner.
It's still dry along the main straight as we see the historic touring cars. Brett Trengove leads lap number 2 to Mundy. Muleman's gone back 2 spots, but he's got his head right in the right place for season 2025. Tony Hubbard. Then it's Bill Trengove back to Jones, Myers, Fairlam and Johnson. We're getting a good look at the mid-pack of the Kiwis.
Certainly are, but at the moment Truan is showing everyone what's happening and what's going on. So we had Magilton and Lowndes leading the HQs, and they've had a bit of a turn there on turn 4, as we saw. We might get a replay, have to wait and see, but Trico, perfect sponsor for Sandown for this weekend.
Isn't
for
it?
All that rain.
Absolutely. Look at the Trico wiper blades, keeping them clean there. Just got to get that wiper motor working well. The blades are working overtime to make up for the wiper motor on the 77. 1 lap ago, it was almost snowing on this corner. We had this localised cell just dump all down at between turn 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now it's all but dry again. This is absolutely amazing, the weather we're seeing in Melbourne over the last couple of weeks. And it is bone dry in the pit lane and along the main straight.
That's unbelievable. And there's no AI here either.
No,
this is fair income.
We couldn't be any further from AI if we tried.
Yeah,
you and I,
right.
we're very much black and white and feet and inches, aren't we, mate? That's for sure.
That's it.
So let's have a look at this field. Here is the historic touring cars. There's Muleman. He goes through in P3. Tony Hubbard. This is the Trengove Mustang. And in behind him is the 64 Mustang. And that's Bill Trengove. And there's the HQ, which did start off at the front of the field here, but the number 20 has just gone back a little bit here. Daniel Myers, I'm looking for where he is on our timesheets, about 7th. on the timesheets now. There he is, 7th on the timesheets, gets across the line. Muleman now trying to threaten the 24. Boy, oh boy, this is what historic touring cars is all about, isn't it? You can see where the upper echelon of Australian touring cars went to when you look back and you hark back to these days. It's a Chevy and a Ford, and they are battling it out. Currently, this is for 3rd and 4th on the road. Right now, at the moment, it's Trengove Brent variety. He's right out in front with Jeff Munday in behind him, 2.5 seconds back, and then this battle is 10 seconds further back. And the HQs, as always, bunching up. How cool is it to see the 76 back out there in this field? Now, where's Lowndes? He's down a couple further behind. He's in this mix.
Oh, 3 wide going into turn 1, ladies and gentlemen. The TV doesn't lie, and neither do I. Magilton's just come out of the front. Ready Roasters behind him in the 87 car. Now, Lowndes, like you said, all the way back. He was right at the front. Him and Magilton, when we had that power storm at turn 4, looped it, got sideways, but continuing on like a HQ does. 6-cylinder Holden, 3-speed, 355, Salisbury or Banjo diff ratio. We've got Kenda tyres, Pettis suspension, and a whole lot more.
You heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. The national treasure, David Amor, just renamed a national phenomenon. It's a power storm and an absolute... I thought that would be a football club, a power storm, but no, it was a storm cell at turn 1. Now with the nickname Power Storm, because you called it that, Dave.
I certainly did, mate. And here we go. Have a look at that. The Ready Rose car there, 87. Good to see. That's 26 years of sponsoring now this year. Ready
cool,
Rose and Glenn McDonald.
It's
absolutely
pretty cool.
fantastic.
Have a look at this. This is Trengove.
Oh, beautiful.
Trengove and Jones here. The 64. Just leading here. Look at these 2 pony Mustangs, aren't they just magnificent? They sound the goods, those 289s and the 302s, just getting the power down out of turn 4. Magnificent camera shot there. That's a static shot looking on the exit of turn 4. And this will give you an idea of the conditions at the moment. The cameraman hanging up on top of that scaffolding, hanging on for dear life at the moment up there. Pete Muleman in the 43. Then it's Jones in the number 5 in behind. HQs in beautiful dry track conditions down where 2 laps ago there was a power storm.
Mate, you just can't believe what's happening, what's going on. Now, Lowndes gone down the inside of turn 1. Ready Rose car there at McDonald. Pushes McDonald just out just a little bit, flexes those pegs, and has got past. He's back into position 6 there of the HQ Holdens.
You know, in those 24, 25 years that Ready Roast have sponsored the McDonald car,
yep.
You know, you and I have never once enjoyed a chicken lunch in the commentary booth.
Oh, well,
there's time, isn't there?
We'll see what we can do, because I'm pretty sure the owner is here again this weekend, so we might be able to get some Ready Roast, mate, inhale some of that
you don't leave the door open for me. I'll put the plug in there.
No worries, but look at Banks. Banksy, the plumber, the fastest plumber of HQs at the moment. Now, there's Warren Truan. He's gone back a couple. There's Crawford there in a 68 car. That was the Andrew Williams car. I understand he's gone into partnership with that car. I don't know what part that Andrew owns.
Can we please have a delivery of some Trico, seeing you through wiper blades down to the camera at turn 9 there? Just that'd be good to get some wiper blades just to wipe the lens clean out there. So trying conditions here at Sandown for round number 1 of the Trico 2025 Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. Warren Truan doing a tremendous job in the HQ. He's currently 2nd on the road because Steve Banks has skipped away out in front there. Boy, we are missing a couple of the big name front-running drivers in HQs, but have a look at the HTC field. This is Brent Trengove. He's starting to mix it up in the tail end of the HQs. They've done a terrific job. Said, yeah, go through on the right there, Mr. Fast Chevrolet. And you've got to say that's probably the big daddy of a HQ, a Camaro, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. That is for sure. Look at that. Crawford now in front of Truan. Truan locked up at Kenda. That was smoking the Kenda. There at the last corner there. Kenda tyres, Pettis suspension. 14 by 8 rims, 3-speed Holden, single carby. Around about the 143, 148 horsepower. A 6-cylinder Holden, screaming.
This guy's done a tremendous job, Dave. He started out of 6th on the grid. He's now 2nd on the road. Sorry, not 2nd. He's actually 4th on the road. So this is Bill Trengove. Not Brent. Brent is out in front in the Camaro. There's a bit of a replay there, the 888 Home Loans replay, and Pete Muleman just having to, I guess, capitulate a bit there. Lucky for the hard stand off the back of turn one. He's gathered it all back up. Have a look at this. This is a massive drive. Just over 4 minutes left on the racing clock here. And the HQs are doing what HQs do, gathering themselves up. 68 of Crawford coming onto the straight. Here comes a fighting back Andrew Magilton.
Yeah, Magilton has certainly gone all the way back to 8th. He's back up into almost 4th position. You can see right in behind Truan. Magilton will go hard left into turn one. If the camera stays on, this will be quite interesting. Side by side, door handle to door handle. Will Magilton go to the inside? No, he doesn't. He's got to wait his turn. There goes Crawford. AW Automatics. Oh, have a look at Truan. Certainly dancing those Kenders around turn one. Now we've got turn 2, 3. Magilton's up the inside of him. Over the little causeway there at turn 4. We can see over the far side where that storm cloud hit. And now up the back chute. And the track is dry. The track is dry.
Absolutely dry. The track is absolutely dry. There's no debris on the track at all. It is absolutely looking magnificent. Have a look at this Camaro. It's going up the left-hand side of the track there, through on Magilton. The next one will be Crawford in the 68. This guy isn't in the race with the HQs. This is a race in 2 parts, historic touring cars and HQs. They started at the same time, and they just all mingle in together. Oh, the Ready Roast car. 4 wheels off the back of the Ripple Strip, and that was about 2 acres off the back of the Ripple Strip there for McDonald. Adam Lowndes, he sniffs a bit of blood in the water there, so he's returned to HQs. Car looks mint. When I saw it on a bit of social media, I went, I remember that. Still looks $1 million. Obviously looks after his cars in the shed. Has been calling saloon cars home for some time. It'd be interesting, Dave, to see how much this has grabbed his interest again.
Yeah, well, it certainly has. And with the HQ Holdens, we had a fun day, sponsor day, come and drive day there only 2 weeks ago at Calder Park Raceway. We were able to snap the gates open and get ourselves in there and have a fantastic day. There was 22 HQs there. It was about 150, 160 people. And we found some more enthusiasm. We're getting some old timers coming back to race with HQ Holdens this year in 2025, where HQs are alive.
Watching now Peter Muleman, he is well and truly alive and animated at the wheel. He's got a whole new outlook. He's got his head in a very, very clear space, and that was a testament to his front row of the grid start. He did get mixed up in some weather, which it was chook lotto at that point in time down at turn 1 when those HTCs, the couple of Camaros and a Mustang arrived down there, and Pete just got dealt, I guess, the bad card at that point in time. But he's fighting back now. He's had, as I said, he's had a massive off-season working with Pete Muleman. The car's great. They can't do a whole lot more to the car. They prepare it to within a millimetre of its life. It's black, it's menacing, which is kind of interesting because Pete's quite the opposite of that. He's quite a friendly fella and easy to talk to. But he has certainly had Pete's head out, put it on someone else's shoulders, given it a bit of a clean out, given it some new blood, and he is absolutely rip-roaring for Trico 2025 Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships for the historic touring cars, and going to be interested to see how the guy goes at the wheel of car number 43.
Certainly is, and beautifully presented car. All these cars, ladies and gentlemen, are out the back in the garages, across the side. Don't be scared. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, go and say hello to the driver. Sit in the car, ask the driver first, get a photo, shake your hands, meet some of the grassroots motorsport, and that's what it's all about this weekend. Families, wives, girlfriends, kids, we're all here this weekend to enjoy round 1, Sandown.
Yeah, the good thing about the grassroots motorsport is that midweek you can keep up with it too with the Grassroots Racing podcast on Speed Cafe. You can have a good look at it there as well. So here we go, up the back straight this time. There's a HQ. That is the 76 of Banks. He's leading the HQ race. There is car number 68, who is in position number 2. That's Crawford. And then Andy Magilton has fought back in true Magilton fashion. He has fought back and got himself onto a podium.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's right behind Crawford at the moment. Last lap board has just gone out, I think, Darren.
Yep.
I can see that across the right-hand side. Last lap board. So last lap board, that means the fastest car has just started. The final lap for everyone, ladies and gentlemen. So just keep an eye on this. Have a look at Crawford, Magilton. Can Magilton do anything? Crawford's certainly got some horsepower into that 202 Holden. But then you look at the 308 there, Richard Fairland, just blowing past. A little bit more grunt, a few more cylinders.
That's the sweetest sounding engine, the 308. At the Thunderdome, all those Oz cars belting around. Gee, they were a good sound. Here's our race leader, car number 22. In fact, just up the road from this. This is the just back in the field a little bit here, coming out of turn 4. There is our race leader, car number 22. Clear air in front, and for all intents and purposes, clear air behind to the Mundy car. 2 Camaros. Looks like they're going to go side by side across the top. No, they're not. Hubbard just ducks back in behind. Then it is Bill Trengove in the Mustang, David Myers, Richard Fairlamb, and Peter Muleman, sadly, now gone back in the 43 to position number 7 after starting out of position 2. He might want to get his old head back and get a bit of mongrel about him come tomorrow's race.
Yeah, I think he's got something wrong with him, Darren. But apparently
Red
is fast. Red is fast.
Red's
the first
fast,
4
and
cars.
we're going to prove it, because there it is. Checkered flag. Brent Trengove takes first blood in the Trico, seeing it through 2025 Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. And there's confirmation. There's obviously something not right with that black Mustang, not getting off Dandenong Road as it should. Grant Munday gets through into position number 2. Tony Hubbard, then it is Bill Trengove, the Myers car. Richard Fairlamb gets through in the 34 there as well, so he gets home. And the HQ's coming to the line.
We've got Andrew Magilton there, the second fastest HQ for this race. Steve Banks, congratulations, coming first. JDM for sponsoring this round also. Beside him, we've got Crawford as well. So we've had a fantastic Magilton Crawford Lounge, McDonald, Truan, John Mahoney, Mick Magilton, Kenner, and then that's our HQs. And then we've got a mix of the NCs or the HTCs that are lapped or double lapped as they go through. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the best thing is tomorrow every class has got its own race in the morning, Darren. Somehow they've been able to do that. So every class has got their own race in the morning, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Sandown. Thank you, Tyre Power, for being a big part of HQ Holdens here in Victoria.
Big thanks to Trico for seeing us through as well. That race with the power storm, a whole new meteorological phenomenon. The centerfold car that we're calling that had a great time over at Tailem Bend last year. And, well, he was on the front row of the grid yesterday. Had a torrid affair out there yesterday, did Pete. We're looking forward to seeing him making up some spots from 7th on the grid. We are 5 seconds to go. The lights will come on and we will be away. Will it be the 2 GM cars on the front row of the grid that get away and charge down into turn 1 first? They get away very, very nicely indeed. In fact, it's the 3rd row of the grid with 4th row, Mullerman and Jones, that got away beautifully in both their Mustangs. But it is going to be the Camaro Festival down at turn 1 for Just Cars. The 24 puts his nose in front there. So Tony Hubbard blasts his way through. And that is a magnificent start from the centre row of the grid. The Mustangs just left wanting a little bit. The red Camaros, the trio, fighting in packs, these three. Have a look at them. And it's a red Mustang behind. You know what they say about red cars going faster? Seems to be proving the way here at the Trico 2025 Victorian State Circuit Racing Championship.
Fantastic start there, as you mentioned, from Tony Hubbard in that number 24 car. And I tell you what, if anyone living next door to Sandown Raceway was hoping for a bit of a late sleep in this morning, not a chance.
It's a late sleep in, mate. It's 9:10.
These things were thundering off the grid as they go over the top of the hill now. Trengove still holding on. What a fantastic camera shot that is. We've got a camera mounted just on the inside of turn 6 there at the top of the hill, watching all these cars tiptoe their way across there. You thunder your way up the hill, and then you've got to really switch to that delicate mode as you get the car down, especially in these historic touring cars, which demand all of your attention to make sure you get the handling and wrangling those corners just right, Darren.
Geez, I tell you what, I wonder how they picked the cameraman there. Was it like, who wants to volunteer to stand trackside all weekend long and grab that shot?
Do you reckon?
I think it's a little man wearing an orange cone on his head.
You reckon he's crouched down just in a position there? We've got a time penalty for the number 24. Is that a jump start?
And the number 5 too, possibly would be first lap round. And it was Darren Jones that we thought that got away beautifully as well from that fourth row of the grid. Lock up there. So the 24 will have seen that. We saw it. And the 5. So that is that's Tony Hubbard. And it is Darren Jones. So Tony can remove himself from the times there. I guess that's going to be a 5-second penalty. So, well, he obviously wants to drive away and get himself a good lead, because that will be imposed post-race.
Foot down, he's out of here. And when you see a time penalty like that on the second lap, you know that it's a jump start, because those are open-shut cases. So that would explain why he got such a good run into turn 1, but he's looking to take advantage and keep that foot as firmly indented into the firewall as he possibly can to try and make that 5-second gap and see what he can do. Meanwhile, we're looking back a little bit further here. That is the Mustang, the number 97 of Mark Johnson we touched on earlier, that yellow machine, heading off an HQ and a Mustang behind him as well. Really nice little variety, as you mentioned at the top of the broadcast here. It's just such a good snapshot of that classic touring car scene of the 60s and the 70s. And these cars, the word iconic was basically written to describe these machines.
They set the tone. They really have set the tone for decades on. 50, 60 years later, we're still watching touring-type cars at the upper echelon of Australian motorsport. Around the world, touring cars tend to be the secondary act, I guess, unless you're in North America where NASCAR rules. As much as I loved IndyCar, you can't deny the fact that NASCAR rules over there. But throughout Europe and definitely throughout Asia, Formula racing takes precedent, definitely in Australia. Tin tops that were started in this particular era. Names like Gagan that trundled around the racetracks, Neptune Racing, all of those, that era of cars were certainly instrumental in forming our psyche around motorsport. 3 Camaros up the back straight. They are absolutely thumping these cars, and magnificent pieces of kit they are too. And to see the fact that these cars are exceptionally valuable, and these race drivers understand that. That's part of the glamour of going historic touring car racing. They're not sparing the horses, though, are they?
They're certainly
not. At this point in time, it's just a race car.
Nah, that's it. Red Mist has descended, and they're fanging it around this Sandown track. And that's another beautiful thing about this category as well. These cars have been racing on this tarmac here at Sandown for decades, and may they do so for many decades to come. Now, this is the effective side-by-side battle for the lead here if Tony Hubbard isn't able to clear these cars by 5 seconds, which at this rate, I'm not sure if he can. So the number 22 of Brent Trengrove is going up the inside there, and he's going to try and have a look at 2 cars in one. Thinks better of it, tucks back in for second place. He'll be pretty happy to stay there and keep the number 64 of William Trengrove. That is not the number 64, that's the number 68 of Jeff Monday, sitting right behind there with the black stripes and the black wheels. So great little ding-dong battle to start our Sunday proceedings.
What, though, Matt, Brent Trengrove has got a bit of blue smoke coming out of the back of that car. I'm just going to keep an eye on that, because I think it's on the downshift when he's under brakes into corners. So that's not what you want to see. Blue smoke will indicate oil, and that could be some sort of overhead gear that's giving him an issue. Not worried about the horsepower, though. Have a look at that. He's having a look outside. It's the 22 versus the 24. There it is. It's on overrun. So that's definitely coming out the exhaust pipe. There it is again. So, well, it's an old Chevy. Possibly that's what they do, just to give a little bit of overhead oil under extreme conditions. But certainly, I hope he's got the pen right. Have a look at that bridge. It says so, doesn't it? Trusted since 1926 here. So he wants to have a good bit of good product in the engine there. But it's 24 Tony Hubbard that has a penalty hanging over his head after a start line infringement. And at the moment, it's only it's half a second. Brett Trengrove looks for the drag race down the inside. Famous down the long run straight here at Sandown. In fact, yesterday when the sports sedans had their standing start, they all arrived at turn 1 about 35, 40 kilometres faster than they would normally on a start, because they had a rolling start. So it was more like lap number 2 of the race rather than arriving down there with cold tyres. And it was certainly got pretty hairy on that start yesterday. But at the moment, we're seeing Tony Hubbard and Brent Brent Trengove just get away from Mundy in the 68 at the moment as they start up the back straight. There's Michael Stupka in the number 6. He is just tipping in at the top of the mountain. Have a look at this. Trengove looks to the inside. He is showing the nose. And the 22 that time has got through.
Tell you what, Tony Hubbard was not making it easy for him, especially I noticed on the run into turn 1. He was moving over just a little bit, trying to shut that door. Even though he's got that penalty, he does not want to let these cars get in front of him and get away, but he couldn't do anything about Trengove around the outside there over the top of the hill. Fantastic move in the number 22 Camaro as they come up on the back of some lap traffic. Is this going to make things interesting, or will, I reckon at this point of the track, they're going to breeze past Stupka quite easily. Won't be too much of an issue there. If that was at the top of the hill, it might be a little bit of a different story. And Stupka says, hello, fellas, have a great race at the front.
Acknowledges the pace of these Chevys as they go down the straight here. I tell you what, though, Tony Hubbard at the moment, he's watching that smoke coming out the side pipe of the number 22 in front of him and going, no, I'm going to have to try and stick with him here. If something untoward mechanically is going on with Brent Trengove, then he needs to be ready to pounce there, because the gap back now to Mundy is 2.4 seconds back. So I'm pretty sure the penalty will be a 5-second penalty. We haven't had that actually confirmed on the timing screen just yet, but we did see the crow's nest at the start line hanging out those penalties with a black flag. Here comes the red Mustang. That's Bill Trengove, and he is now getting very much hunted down by Myers. And Pete Muellerman, he's made up 2 spots. Started out of, 1 spot. Started out of 7th, now up to 6th. So let's see how the menacing black Mustang, how good's that shot grabbing the cars through there?
Great shot. And I tell you what, it's always odd to think of a Mustang as being a small and nimble car, especially when you compare it to modern day cars. But when you see it on track next to HQ Holdens, Camaros, other vehicles as well, you see that like they were described, because they were sort of, at the time of release, they weren't really like muscle cars were sort of used, but they were more of a pony car was the wording there. They were designed to be that more of a smaller, lightweight, I guess a sporty option. And
well, in the States they were called a compact.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I suppose they're definitely compact for the United States standards, aren't they? When you look at some of the other land yachts, look at the number 43 going all the way to the inside there to get the move done on. Oh, he's running in very, very hot, going for a little bit of bush bashing there outside wide. No harm, no foul. Soaring at the steering wheel, almost loses it. Goodness me, what a way to wake yourself up on a Sunday morning.
Geez, I tell you what, Lucky Pete's had a bit of skid pan practice in recent months. That could have ended up in a big loop there. He's managed to gather it all up. He will have enjoyed that. That would have been a bit of fun for him. But sadly, what that's done is it's dropped him back into the clutches of Johnson and Fairlamb. And he has lost a whole lot of impetus in his run towards getting back on the front row of the grid. Qualified magnificently yesterday morning, had his head right in the right spot. And as I touched on yesterday, he has sought a little bit of assistance to get him personally in the right spot. The car is as sweet as a nut, and it has been for a number of seasons now. And Pete went, what can we improve? And had a couple of chats with some wise heads around Australian motorsport, and went and got some coaching, and to use his words, unpacked everything he knew and packed a whole new kit bag and brought it to the racetrack.
Tell you what, that red HQ there, the number 34 of Richard Fairland with the heritage plate on the club plates on it. You reckon he trails in here, or does he just drive it here and then drive it back home when he's done?
Oh, I reckon he might do a couple of cars and coffees throughout the year and just trundle it up the highway there. It's probably put on a trailer to bring to the racetrack, you would expect. But every now and again you see these cars at one of those Sunday morning, probably been out to the Berwick Cars and Coffee event, probably down to Shannon's down in Cheltenham there. They run, I'm going to say, arguably the best Cars and Coffees event down there. So head down to Shannon's Insurance in Heatherton and check it out. They do that very regularly.
Still just holding off here.
How's the cool drop tank? I love it. It's got the Holden right across it in 12-inch letters across the back of it.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? And I feel like that's a bit of a, what do you call it? It's like a very signature Holden thing, isn't it? You see it on a lot of Holdens. Even I remember like the more recent Commodores in supercars, they had a bit of that drop tank vibe as well. You can see quite clearly under the rear bumper.
I guess the most famous one is the Brock A9X. than a 79 Bathurst winning car with that massive, I think it was more of an advertising hoarding than it was a fuel tank. But this is a good battle here. We're watching this go out between Johnson, Fairlane and Jones here. So this is just staple Australian motorsport. A bit of FOMOCO, a bit of the General, the Roaring Lion in a FOMOCO sandwich here. And cheer for whoever it is that you think it is. And I guess the red Holden and the blue Ford really do start to pay homage to the heritage. The 34 just getting a black flag there as well.
Fairland.
So that's Richard Fairland.
Yeah, not sure whether was it a black, was it a meatball? I didn't actually catch that one.
See that? Yeah, I saw the number board come out. We'll keep an eye on that next time around. So he's actually dropped out of it, Fairland.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that one to see what's happening with that car. Meanwhile, here's a great little scrap between Trengrove and Myers for what is now, according to our timing, the battle for third position. As we can see that Hubbard has actually dropped off quite a bit as well. He's timing at fifth position right now while he was up in the lead earlier on. So a little bit happening here around the track. Big puff of smoke there from Trengrove in the number 64 Mustang. Keeps on the straight and narrow. There's been a bit of action happening yesterday down in that Dandy Road corner. So
that's absolutely torched the Hoosier on the front there. Big lock up, unweighted into that corner. Typical signature Sandown Dandenong Road, unweighted, and the wheel just locks up. And I guess the Monaro behind kicks out the back. A little bit of Lygon Street in the 80s action going out there as he off the back of the ripple strip there.
Trying to fill both of that Mustang's mirrors at the same time.
Yeah. And a good entree to the next category on track, which is will be the 6-cylinder HQs, not the 5-litre HQ that we're looking at here. And Myers really getting all over the back of the 64 here, wants to find a way through.
Using every single square inch of that tarmac, but Bill Trengrove is not budging here in that Mustang. He's making it as wide as he possibly can as they round turn 4 here. Coming up on the back of Jeff Monday here, this could almost be a battle for second. We've got just under a minute left on the clock, so not much racing action left to go. As I'm just looking down to see in the pit lane, a car has come in or two, and I reckon that looks to be an HQ of Fairland that's pulled into the pit. So what a shame. So that must have been a meatball flag he was given there. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Yeah, Fairland is indeed in the pit lane as according to our timing. But we've got a great race here for the back of the podium spots here now, as Trengrove is still doing a ripping job of holding off Daniel Myers.
Yeah, I reckon we're going to get another lap around here too, before maybe 2 laps before we see the last lap board. So this will be a good competition. We'll keep this battle going on here between the Mustang and the HQ. And he puts the power down, draws alongside. That will have lost a bit of momentum for the HQ. And just losing a little bit in the straight line here, but starts to wind it up, the 283 versus the 5-litre. And that's a 308. Under brakes, it's going to be a good little run at it. Tips it in, off in the background there. We see Pete Muleman's made his way back to 5th, and now it is the 64 getting all sorts of S action, laying a couple of number 11s. In fact, it was a wobbly old number 11.
Very squirrely all the way through that first sector of the Sandown track here, but that has put Daniel Myers in the number 20 HQ up into the podium spots now. So he's going to be putting the foot down, seeing if he has a chance to catch that number 68 Camaro of Jeff Monday in front of him. I want to take a bit of a moment to take stock here of the field as they stand. So Brent Trengrove in the number 22 is still leading with Daylight second, third and fourth, because he's got a gap of 9.2 seconds over second place on the road, Jeff Monday. Massive gap that Brent Trengrove has at the front. And then this is the battle that we see for third. Daniel Myers now in third position in front of this car, the number 64 of William Trengrove down in P4. So as behind them, we've got Peter Muleman, Johnson.
Last lap board just being shown. So at the moment, Trengrove has the fastest car on the track, lap 6, did a 121. Last time round a 125. So it just gives you a bit of an idea of the drop-off as we just see Michael Stupka just giving them a very clear track to drive on by there. So ever the gentleman, Michael Stupka. But certainly on our last lap now. But best lap time by the second car on the road, another red Chevy. A 123 last time round, a 126. So the historic touring cars do tend to have a bit of that drop-off as they come towards the end of this race.
You can see just how big that gap was from Trendgrove back to the field and behind him as well. As we see a move potentially here. That's the number 5 of Darren Jones. Trying to look up the inside of Mark Johnson, but can't get it done. Has to tuck in behind. So he doesn't want to let this one go yet. He's seen that last lap board. He wants to keep flying on. But you could see how big that gap was. It's now 10 seconds at the front for this car. He is almost about to finish the race. Fantastic race. He clean swept this Sandown round last year, and he's well on his way to doing it again this year.
So a 125 in really trying conditions yesterday. So in this race, a 121 here for Brent. So he's found the pace. A full dry track. It was a tricky old affair yesterday. Plus they had a lot of HQs that they were mixed up in that race as well. So a bit of traffic, but race number 2 for the season for historic touring cars here at Sandown for the Trico Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships goes to Brent Trengove. Second on the road will be Monday, and then Dave Myers fought really hard for that podium, and I'm going to say probably the drive of the race to get up into that podium spot.
Great finish there for that battle for second place, and I think Jeff Munday will be pretty happy the flag dropped when it did, because he was pretty close to getting hounded up there. Now, William Trendgrove and Pete Muehlman across the line in 4th and 5th. This is the battle for P6, and it is going to go the way of Mark Johnson, who leads home Darren Jones in the numbers 97 and 5 Mustangs respectively.
Darren, of course, has a post-race penalty, which we think was a start line infringement, being that it was given from the crow's nest on the first lap around. So that penalty will apply. And here comes the rest of the field just coming through. Tony Hubbard, of course, has a 3-second penalty, but he's now finished down in 8th place. So
he's certainly not sending it very hard, is he?
No.
So I'd really hope there's no issue with that Mustang, because that Camaro, I should say, because it was obviously rapid at the start of this race. So fingers crossed that car's all good and there's not too many issues with it, but that's not the race he was looking for today.
He's certainly got a lot of troubles if that Camaro's a Mustang. He's in all sorts of trouble if that's what's happened.
That'd be far from ideal, wouldn't it?
That's absolutely far from ideal. Matt Dunlop, thank you very much for joining me for the race, opening race, and the historic touring cars right at the very front of the field. He's got them on his, so it's a bit of a battle of the toilet dwellers, isn't it? The plumbers are out there having a crack.
Yeah, well, literally having a big crack, mate. They certainly are. Lowndes and Banks, you know, 1st and 4th. Keep an eye on it, ladies and gentlemen. Tyre Power, thank you so very, very much for being part of the HQ Holdens for 2025. Pretty good start there.
Andy Magilton gets off very, very nicely there indeed. Banks wanted to try and go with him, but have a look at Warren Truan. He's trying to pick a spot, and he's trying to move over to the inside run up to turn 1. In fact, all 3 of them there are lining up, and it's John Mahoney as well. He's looking at it, a bit of a run up the inside as well, but sweeping from right over on the right-hand side, carrying great speed through turn 1 and down the hill to 2. It'll be Andrew Magilton, who had a big job yesterday to fight his way back through the pack in the middies car.
Yeah, and the 14 car, absolutely fantastic. A young bloke, well, he's not a young bloke anymore. He's got a couple of kids now, he's married, but the Magilton car there with the middies on it, fantastic. Very quick, very smart. Always here early in the mornings, here late in the afternoons. So we shoot up the back straight. Have a look at that.
The electrician grabbed the plumber into turn 4 there as well. So it was Mick Magilton came through on Adam Lowndes. So Adam Lowndes just struggling for a bit of pace. Looks to the inside here. He's got the inside running. Now that's a saloon car type of effort if I've ever seen. Muscle him out, and he's gone through. So the plumber gets one back on the electrician, who gets to go to lock-up stage.
Yeah, well, literally, that is for sure. There we see Lowndes the 19 car, Mick Magilton the 75. Magilton Electrical, we need any stuff done around the Baxter Tyab way. Absolutely fantastic value for money. Just like affordable excitement with the HQ Holdens. Lowndes has had a bad start, you can see that. But look at Magilton over the start-finish line for the first lap. You can see there, Banks right on the back of it there. Fairly good starting there for the top 3. Have a look at Banks now.
Whoa, he's got the GMG emblazed across the back window there, so he's got a good guy in his corner. Gav Ross making sure things are pointing in the right direction. He goes over the back of the ripple strip. That'll affect the run down to 2 here. Andy Magilton, he's like a shark. He'll sense the blood in the water, and he'll take a big chunk out of the side of number 76 as he goes through.
Certainly will. So through turn 4, it was a bit slippery yesterday. Everyone was commenting on that. First, second, third, very, very close. Fourth there, we got Crawford there as well. He's doing extremely well. And we've also got Warren Truan there in the Berryman entry, or the Piedmont home entry there of Warren Truan, the 77 car. Beautiful looking car, ladies and gentlemen. You see that over near the grandstand. Go and have a look at it. It is mint. Better than mint.
He runs it on his Touring Car Masters car too, that Berryman livery. Very detailed, but really appropriate for HQ. Eyes wide open. You never know what's going to happen next. There we go, running a bit wide in the James Kenner entry. And the 91 of Eric Hill. Nice bright green colour, staying true to the brand. More of a Sandman colour, that sort of lime green, isn't it?
Yeah, you remember that colour, Darren, do you?
I had a green Sandman, that colour, mate. So.
Yeah, it wasn't quite the panel van, it was the sedan you had.
I had the panel van.
Oh,
absolutely, okay. Sandman. Twin headlight front too, so there you go.
Beautiful, yeah, beautiful.
You had to see where you were going at night. Put the sealed beams in there.
Yes, that's right.
Bit of Lucas, Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, that's right. Look at Banks, the 76 car, the fluoro orange wheels going extremely well. Magilton still behind him. Crawford getting real close. Truan's getting closer to Crawford. Throw a struggle rugger over the first 4 now, ladies and gentlemen, down into turn 4. Very, very tight, close, side by side, door handle, bumper to bumper action as they shoot themselves up the back chute.
They certainly do, and up the hill they come. And, well, for a sports sedan, it's just a quick run up the hill, but for a HQ, it's like trying to get home on a Friday night, and the hill just seems to continue heading up and up and up. And then this little tip down to the left, I say little, it's a big deep breath, pull on the belts and tip it in. And the HQs love to run close to each other. Let's see how long this cameraman stands there and allows these HQs to run over the tips of his toes. I reckon he's got a good pair of steel caps on, some mongrel boots down there, I reckon.
Glenn McDonald is certainly smoking the Kenders there down in the dandy corner. The Ready Roast car there was certainly turning those perfectly round Kenders into a 50-cent piece. All right, underneath the Penrite Bridge there. Mate, Penrite, they're 100 years old next year, so that'll be quite good. I'm sure they'll be doing something very, very good. The Ready Rose car there, McDonald, the 87 car, Leons. Leons is doing okay. I thought he might have just maybe had a problem getting from second to third at the start of the race. Look at this, the plumber at the front, plumber at the back. And also we've got John Mahoney there in the 91 car as well. It's the president of HQRA Victoria this year, ladies and gentlemen. The Ready Rose, we've got Adam Lowndes, we've already spoken about that, the 19 car.
The 87 wobbling his way through there. You reckon 100 years of Penrite, there'd have to be some sort of sausage sizzle going on somewhere to celebrate that. That's very Aussie, isn't it? 100 years old. Letter from the Queen, or the King now, and a sausage sizzle.
Yeah, John Diamond was heavily involved in Penrite back when I was sort of getting sponsorship
the Diamonds
out of
still
them.
are. The Diamonds still heavily involved.
Definitely, that's for sure. And everything else like that. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's a rip-roaring day of motor racing today. Come up and see the race cars, have a bit of a look, have a bit of a talk to the drivers, take some photos, enjoy it, because that's what it's all about. Big State Race, a grassroots motorsport, getting right up tight and close to all the race cars.
Have a look at this. This is our front 4 in the HQ race. Race 2 for the weekend. They combined yesterday with the historic touring cars, and they'll do that again for race number 3 at 1:40 this afternoon. But they are absolutely putting on a classic display of HQ racing, line astern of each other, everyone in a straight line, and then under brakes they'll pop out and have a bit of a look at each other. There's 2 battle packs on the straight here, and this is representing the first 8 cars in this race. Look at the 77, Warren Truan having a look out, fresh air, under brakes on Crawford, gets a bit of a wobble, bit of a hippie shake, and sends it. Both of them send it over the back of the ripple strip there. So the 77 of Warren Truan, and then the 68 there of Glenn McDonald out over the back of the ripple strip. Truan gets the place. No harm, no foul. Out over the back of the ripple strip. Plenty out over there too. That got close to the wall.
Yeah, mate, I actually stood back from the TV then. He's certainly...
Notice the cameraman didn't.
No,
Stayed
no,
true,
no.
held on.
Yeah, very consistent. I tell you what, they certainly do a fantastic job. Blend Line, once again, you want to have a look at some grassroots motorsport, go to Blend Line in Victoria, New South Wales, across Australia. Blend Line is doing an awesome job. Trico, thank you for hopping on board the Vic State Racer Series this year. And have a look at this. Oh, that's Crawford. Crawford right behind Truan. The two blue cars, they haven't swapped any paint, but they've been very close.
Not yet. I think those years are good. So this is what happened down at turn 4. Now you went out over the back of the ripple strip, 4 wheels for Truan. Gets out there, and here we go back to live shots on the straight. There goes the 77. Big thanks to Trico and 888 Home Loans for the replays we're getting throughout this weekend. And up the straight we go again. So that group that was 4 and 3 is now 2, 2 and 3. And that's the extent of my maths, Dave. You're going to have to step in and start adding them up now.
Mate, you using your fingers. I got to see you then, and your toes almost. But we have a look at Lowndes. Lowndes down the inside there, the Ready Rose, Glenn McDonald car, John Mahoney, and the 91 car right behind them, side by side. McDonald's trying to hang on. He's got to push Lowndes wide now into turn 2. Lowndes will try and push him wide into oh, no. Lowndes has gone over the edge. McDonald's now gone back in front. Lowndes brakes heavily. Oh, jeez, that was close.
I tell you what, Glenn McDonald held his nerve there, didn't he? I've got to say, Adam Lowndes, ever the gentleman, allowed that to go on. He allowed plenty of racing room, making sure there was no coming together, because really those bash and charge type days of HQs are long gone now. Everybody likes to keep their paint in the right spot. Here we go. The 19, the 87. Lowndes is going to have to pull back in because the 81 of Mahoney's starting to march up beside him there. So maybe jumping in the slipstream. Mahoney wide there, giving our cameraman plenty of room to breathe. And Lowndes just trying to gather it all back up again and have another crack at Mahoney. He saw what Warren Truan did to Graham Crawford the last lap around. 4 minutes and 45 seconds left on the time certain clock. At that point, we'll get the last lap board. And these two back together again. Banks is leading the way to Andrew Magilton, Warren Truan, Graham Crawford. We're waiting for the next lot of to get across the line. It'll be McDonald, Adam Lowndes, John Mahoney. And that's the top 7, all on the main straight as our leaders tip in. Here's Lowndes having another go. He's tried to get a good run in the slipstream, pulls back in behind and goes, nope, not going to happen this time round.
Yeah, no, the horsepower is just a little bit different from the saloon car to the HQ. Talking to Lowndes,
it's all relevant though. It's all what you got around you, isn't it?
Well, that's exactly right, mate. This is a one-mate class. It's the biggest in the world, a one-mate class. The history of the world, the HQ Holdens. Back in 91, 92, we had some over 600 HQs racing through Australia and Tasmania. Now, this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, go and have a look at the HQs. Look at all the sponsors on the guards. Thank you, sponsors. The windscreen sponsor. We've got Tyre Power. We've got Mount Nurarat is sponsoring Division 2 this weekend. We've got JDM sponsoring Division 1. What's Division 1, Division 2? Division 1 is all the guys that are always up the front. Division 2 are the new guys coming along and the people that normally finish 10th, 12th, 15th, 20th, all that. So HQ, we give trophies out for both categories.
I'm going to say, is this Div 1? Is this Div 2 on screen now?
This is Divi 2. That's Eric Hill and Mick Magilton. So there's 2 Magiltons there. We've got the young bloke up the front. We've got the old man down the back. So Magilton Electrical, just having a bit of a look here. John Mahoney now has gone past the Ready Rose car. Glenn McDonald, has he had an issue or a problem? Outbraked himself, we're not sure. Darren, what can you see, mate?
77. 77 with a bad sportsmanship flag there. So that's Warren Truan. Gee, I wonder what that was all about.
I'm not sure, mate. Maybe he got too close to the pipe check sign over there at turn 4.
Maybe, I don't know. But oh well, that's an interesting one there. The I thought it was a meatball flag, but no, colloquially known as the bad sportsmanship flag, black and white diagonal there. So
okay.
it basically means that race control and all the officials and flaggies right around the track are keeping a very close eye on your racecraft right now.
Yep, certainly is, making sure he's sticking to the black bit.
Yep.
All right, the part of the racetrack. He might be going over the back of the ripple strip too far.
Yep.
Maybe at turn one there.
Probably at the top of the hill here, coming across and running across that, what is the driver's right.
Yep.
Here we go. Here's this magnificent shot. Wow.
You see the angle of that
Yeah,
car.
how was that? And, gee, John Mahoney, he was running it like a sprint car through there, wasn't he? The Kenders were just, like, loving it.
Yep, they certainly are. Righto, HQ Holden, what are they? They're a 202 Holden, single carby. Exhaust systems are free. Very, very little modifications inside the engine itself, ladies and gentlemen. They all get measured, checked and sealed. We run a 98 fuel, which is a pump grade fuel in these cars. Back in the day, we used to run avgas because we thought we were aeroplanes back in those days. Now we're running the 98 fuel at the servos. So it's brought the compression ratio down to about 12.4, which is still pretty high, mate. It's pretty high. I don't want to be in one.
There wasn't too many HQs that came out with 12.4 compression ratio from the factory, I can tell you that much.
That's exactly right. A HQ Holden, brand new, was 9.8,
There we go.
ladies and gentlemen.
Running on
Super
standard fuel.
Yeah, super.
Oh,
Super.
Super, of course. Have a look at these guys now. We're starting to tick it down. 40 seconds remaining on the clock here. Wow. The 81 there, John Mahoney's just gone for the Tricos. He had the wiper blades on. Look at this, so is the 77. Going for the Tricos, up the back straight. So are we starting to see a bit of precipitation? I think we are.
Yeah, we certainly will. Banks doesn't, I know he's a plumber, he doesn't like the rain. Magilton will be doing almost a rain dance inside that helmet, hoping for a bit more spit to make Banks worry about what's going to happen. You know,
Water's hardly an electrician's friend, though, is it?
Well, no, that's exactly right. But Magilton loves it.
He loves it, loves
really
racing
does.
in the rain. I guess he's got the lid on
Last
top
lap
of him.
board, or we got one more lap? What's going on, mate?
We haven't got the last lap board out. No last lap boards. They've got to the line there, so in the time certain. But
So we're still racing. We're still racing.
We're absolutely
We're
still
into
racing.
it.
And we're starting to see a bit of precipitation. Look at that. The Tricos are starting to get used. They've gone well. I need to see better. I better get Trico to see me through this.
Whoa, look at this. It's starting to slip and slide, ladies and gentlemen, through turns 1. Definitely through turn 2, 3 and 4. Now with the HQ Holdens, just like any other HQs, supercar, whatever, if you don't get a good exit out of turn 4, the car behind you will shoot straight past.
I'll tell you what, you're drawing a fairly long bow there, aren't you? Between the HQ and the supercar. Like, there's a fair gap in between.
Not really, mate.
No,
You've still
not
got
really.
a spacer called a driver. Still got wheels
Yeah.
and a steering wheel. So
Yeah.
let's face it, mate.
And
they've
you've got to get
numbers.
to the end.
You must get to the end.
Got to get to the end. Twin headlight front on the number 91. Eric Hill has got himself a nice gap there. Oh, a little bit of opposite lock there. Grabbing it there, and one of his mates squealing the tyres around. I think the cameraman thought there might have been someone going off there, but just a bit of tyre squeal, asking a lot after 10 laps on underneath the HQ. The Kenders will certainly be starting to feel the heat, and they'll be sort of a little bit frustrated, a little bit damp, a little bit dry. But the 81 going, yep, I'm going to get some TV time here. I'm running the sponsors product. I've got the Tricos working hard there. And now the biggest problem I'm going to have at the end of today is a new wiper motor for my HQ. But getting out there nicely. The JDM, one of the round sponsors for the HQs.
They certainly are, mate. Now we go back to what it's in the HQ. We still run disc brakes on the front, drums on the rear. Yes, drums in a race car, ladies and gentlemen. Pettis suspension, Pettis Sports. We talked about the Kenda tyres. We run, oh, look at Mahoney. He's trying to get that thing sideways. Over the start-finish line. The last lap board must be out now. I can't see anything on the
Doesn't look
TV.
like it is. No last lap board there. So we continue on.
Oh, magnificent.
At some point, someone's going to look down at their fuel gauge and say, hey, we only filled this up for 12. So we're just being told that check a flag next time by. So we're not going to see a last lap board, but that's good. These guys are still going for it. So they're still racing, and until the checkered comes out, as we just touched on, Dave, keep going.
Yep, that's for sure. 2, 3 and 4. John Mahoney there, the Ready Rose car, Glenn McDonald coming out of turn 4. Just got to see, there's a sprinkle of rain. There's not heaps, there's a sprinkle, but the plumber is keeping it in front of the electrician there at the moment. Steve Banks, Andrew Magilton. Oh, have a look at this. I've just spoken too soon. Magilton right on the boot lid of Banks. As we've been told, we've only got 3 corners to go, side by side. Here we go, underneath the Penrite Bridge. Who's got to come out? Can Banks hold it together? Can Magilton? Oh, Magilton's locked a bit of a break. Oh, Banks, Magilton's gone up the inside of him. Magilton's come through the centre. Oh, looks like Magilton has got it. Magilton, the electrician. Then we've got Banks. You've only got to win the race on the last corner, and apparently that's all we had to do.
There it is. I tell you what, it's the battle of the work site, and the Sparkies have got the, they got this one. That's for sure.
They certainly have. Truan, no more issues or problems in the 77 car. Crawford in the 68 car. He done extremely well. Lowndes has come back through. It'll be interesting to have a chat to him and see what happened to his car. He went backwards at a great rate of knots. Mick Magilton there in the 75 car, still coming through. Eric Hill in front of him. James Kenner. I don't know what's happened to James Kenner in the 66 car. I'm not sure what happened there.
Here comes Mick Magilton, though, in the 75, charging to the line. So let's have a quick review back. Fastest lap of the race was Steve Banks. So the plumber is definitely the fastest car on the track. A 135.32, a 135.5 was Andy Magilton's fastest lap. So Banksy takes the fastest lap of the race. There it is, a 135.32. And the field streaming across the line there. Checkered flag. Just flapping around in the breeze. The breeze has certainly started to pick up as we started racing today. It was quite still here and the sun was out over the last 45 minutes or so.
There's Kenner. He's still last, but he's getting it sideways onto the front straight. Greeting the checkered flag. So well done to James Kenner. So that's absolutely fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. You can see it there, Blendline TV, Trico, thank you very much. From the HQ side of things, Tyre Power. Absolutely magnificent to keep you on board for another year of 2025. Absolutely fantastic. So hopefully they'll flex the pecs, put the shoulders out, put the shoulders in a little bit, door handle, bumper to bumper racing. So we're about ready to go live, Darren. Thank you, Blendline. Absolutely fantastic here, Sandown 2025.
I've got to say a big thank you to the MG Car Club for presenting such a great race weekend, and of course the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships as a whole. Great entry here this weekend. Let's keep up the support for the next round, which will be at Calder on the 28th, 29th and 30th of March. We're about to get underway, and away we go. The historic touring cars at the front of the field. It'll be Jeff Mundy that just gets a bit of wheel spin off there, but it's going to be a Mustang, a red Mustang, a William Trengove. Bill to his mates. He comes charging up beside there, but it'll be the 22 of Brent Trengove. He hasn't been headed much this weekend, has it all his own way. There's the 43 looking down the inside there. The 20 has a good look up as well. So Daniel Myers in the HQ, the V8 version, puts himself into P3.
Certainly is. As we're going through turns 1, 2, 3 and 4, we have got Banks. Banks is in front of Magilton. You can see that. The fluoro orange wheels there on the 76 cars in front of the Middies car. Oh, the Middies car is starting to get overtaken by Warren Truan. Warren Truan, the Berry Man, the big cartoon picture. The 77 has gone past Andrew Magilton. Andrew Magilton's had a shocker of a start, but still third. So he's not doing too bad at the moment. But here comes Truan. Truan is unbelievable. Right in front of camera screen at the moment. Banks is doing fantastic. Crawford is right in behind there as well. Also the ready roast of Glenn McDonald in the 87 car. Down in the dandy corner, Truan, the 77 car. Magilton, Middies entry there. Crawford around the outside. AW Automatics, that's Andrew Williams. Yes, the man himself. As over the start-finish line goes the Historics as the HQs are coming into the final corner. What a rip-roaring start Banks has had. Truant, magnificent. Here we go, Crawford, right beside Magilton. And the Ready Rose car. Oh,
gee, we've got a bit of smoke floating around, haven't we? The historic touring cars turning it on. A lock-up into turn 1. There was a bit of smoke out of coming down through turn 10, 11 there as well. So one of these guys has got a brake bias concern as they all get the power down out of turn 4 and start to work their way up the very, very famous hill at the back of Sandown here. And Brent Trengove has to sacrifice the lead of this race. Almost the first time this weekend that the historic touring cars have been out that Jeff Monday has managed to push his way through. There's the 308, and here comes Peter Muehlman. He started to find his mojo again as the weekend has worked on. Had a bit of a torrid time after starting on the front row of the grid. Great run in qualifying, but he is now starting to work his way on. It's Trengove. He's the one, sorry, that's not Trengove.
That's the old bloke, Tony Hubbard.
Yeah, Tony Hubbard. He's the one that's getting the big lockups there. They're not going to. The Hoosier is not going to last too long underneath the heavy weight of the Chevy, is it?
Well, that's right, mate. And also the heavy foot of the driver needs to calm down just a little bit.
It does. Have a look at the HQs. What a battle at the moment. It's Warren Truant who's kind of driven away from this pack here, and this is the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th sort of thing, isn't it?
Certainly is. There, Adam Lowndes, you can see there, beautiful looking car, that number 19. But Crawford is in front of him, so he's got to grab hold of Crawford. Then he's also got to go to the Ready Rose car there as well. But we've got Steve Banks, which has absolutely blown the HQ field apart, the 76 car. You can see he's at least 20 metres ahead there of Truant, the Berryman entry. Then we've got Magilton. Now, don't worry about him. He's the last lap specialist. He only has to win on the final lap like he did last time, Darren, if you remember the Middies car. So keep an eye on him. Something not quite right with his car. There's plenty of time. We have got 10 minutes.
Just over 10 minutes left, and that's
6
plenty
laps.
of time. Trico are seeing us through all of this. The leaderboard for historic touring cars is Monday to Brent Trengove, then Bill Trengove. Peter Muehlman's made his way up into the 4th spot in the road, and Brent Trengove has now gone through into the race lead. Good to see the 43 working his way back up into this position. He's been working on himself and his motorsport head, and it's really good to see Pete out there on track. Tony Hubbard's starting to push pretty hard there as well, making up those positions. Then it's Johnson and Myers. And then the first of our HQs has got a pretty handy lead actually at the moment is Stephen Banks.
He certainly has, as you can see there on camera, with the big Penrite sign there, ladies and gentlemen, 100 years old next year, so that'll be absolutely fantastic. A few sausages on the barbie, I'm sure of that. But here we go, the 81 car there, John Mahoney, Eric Hill from Ballarat, the 91 car, doing extremely well. JDM is sponsoring the Division 1, and Mount Ararat is sponsoring Division 2 in the HQ.
Mount Ararat what? The mountain is sponsoring
Mount
the HQs?
Ararat Freighters.
Oh, Mount Ararat
Freighters.
Freighters.
Is Tony Maloney.
Thank you. You said Mount Ararat yesterday, and I thought, what, the mountain's throwing some coin out, a bit of sponsorship.
Well,
Mount Ararat Freighters, good on you.
He's almost got that much money, yes, that's exactly right. Good to see Tony and all his trucks on the road delivering grain into the Gippsland area. But as we come out of turn 4, as we turn that little bit of a kink, it's a fairly big kink, and then shoot yourself up the back straight. But look at these big guns down the front here.
Yeah, the historic touring car's really starting to turn it on. Have a look at this. Pete Muehlman responding to the challenges thrown down to him. He's going to bet himself into P3 at the end of lap number 4. So this is a good fight back from Pete. Started out of 5th. And was down as far as 8th early this morning, and coming together. That is not what we like to see in historic touring cars. And I would say that was just a little bit of spatial awareness that had just skipped out of, I think that's Bill Trengove in the 64 it is. Just had a little bit of lapse of concentration as to where Tony Hubbard was. And those two had a bit of a coming together. That is exceptionally rare that we see a historic touring car come together, let alone jump up in the air like that. And that was kind of a bit of a wicked sort of coming together that. But, wow, normally in the Just Cars historics, here we go. What happened coming in off the back of the ripple strip, moving over? Yeah. Tony Hubbard really had nowhere left to go, did he? He was just holding his line. And Bill Trengove, just a momentary lapse of concentration, and that's what's resulted. And sadly, it looks like Tony Hubbard's going to take no further part. He's just drifting around now. No smoke or anything coming off his car. Has he got a cut tyre or something? No. He's probably a little bit upset that he's got a dented right-hand front fender there.
He's got to polish that out again on the weekend by the looks of it.
I'm not sure that's going to polish out. We can argue that all day long, can't we? The old polish out the guard routine.
Yeah, mate, it was almost like two magnets coming together.
It was, yeah. They needed a north-south rather than they needed a north-north, didn't they?
Yeah, they
repel each other.
Yeah, no, mate, he just kept on going left, and then contact, and then we almost had all four wheels off the ground. Like it was pretty fast. It's a
decent old lift too to get a full metal jacket like that up off the ground, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure his shockers certainly shocked themselves.
Heavy landing. Yes. Heavy landing. Safety car out in this is the Trico Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships this weekend. This round presented by 888 Home Loans. Big shout out to both those organisations. Trico have got a presence down here right opposite your parts supply truck there in Trade Alley, Dave. Trico have got their presence out. Here's the reason why we've gone safety car. Bill Trengove just moving across. It was an innocuous hit, but it's that bit of a bump in the outfield that has caused that. So that's why they went up in the air. It was for all intents and purposes a bit of a hit. I guess it ended up the way it did because they went off track and ran over a couple of decent-sized bumps there that might have been more at home on an Olympic moguls course or something like that they've run across. But certainly the field now coming well and truly under control, and they've picked up the HQs as the front of the pack.
Yep, you can certainly see that. So we've got the safety car there, good on them. Racer Industries safety car. Then we've got Banks, Truan, fantastic. Magilton, good. Crawford, the Ready Rose car, McDonald. We've got Andrew Lowndes, Mahoney, Eric Hill, Mick Magilton there in the 75 Minis car.
They're waving the HQs through. So they've brought the speed down, waving the HQs through. They'll pick up the race leader. Nice work, race control and safety car. Big responsibility, and they've done beautiful. They've brought the field under control. They've nullified the race for all intents and purposes. Now they'll pick up our race leader, who will be Brent Trengove.
Yeah, and he's having a real good run, isn't he?
Isn't he?
Grant Monday's doing fantastic in the 68 car.
Brent Trengove won all three races here last year, and he's on track to do it again today.
Yeah, yep. Don't blame him. Beautiful looking car. Everything's spot on. I was about to say the Monday car, that's one of the Western Australian cars there that originally was built by Stubber.
Stubber, yeah.
You know, just another Stubber. Meteor, you might as well say.
It's spent a fair time on it going sideways.
Yes, always. And smoking those hoosiers.
What a ripping race car driver, though, Peter Stubber is. Like, what a top bloke. Paul Stubber is. Just a great racer. Brings his car over to the East Coast, takes it up north, goes down south, and then travels all the way back over to Western Australia again. So this one's being treated pretty special. Not getting a flat toe. It's going straight onto the flat bed. So it is going straight on there, and the field is well and truly under control. Let's have a quick review with 3.5 minutes left to go. Brent Trengove leads the way. Grant Monday is in P2. Here it is again. Just a little regain. Come off the back of the ripple strip, and there it is. Wow. It was going to be just a play on, wasn't it? But it ended up being, as they got off the track, ended up being a little bit more nastier than what they thought. So, Trengove Monday, Peter Muleman. Have a look at that, Dave. He's made his way up to P3, started out of 5, and he is now in a podium position, but not dragging the big points haul like Brent Trengove. He's got 100. Monday's got 92. Pete's only got 70. And then we go down to car number 5, that's Darren Jones in the Mustang Coupe. He's got a good points haul for the 283. And then the number 97 there, that's Mark Johnson in the Mustang as well. And, our remaining historic touring cars, it is going to be Bill Trengo, but he's going on the back of the truck. Tony Hubbard's in. And the Myers car number 20, the Daniel Myers, the HQ with the 308 in it, is in the lane as well. Richard Fairlamb didn't take any part of it. Lacey and poor old Michael Stupka in the Cortina didn't front to start this one either. But with having said all of that, we've still got a full pack of HQs, Dave.
Yeah, we certainly have. It's absolutely fantastic. So thank you, Tyre Power, for coming on board. HQs in Victoria again, that's absolutely fantastic. As we see them coming down the front straight, beautiful, well-presented cars, Banks. Then we've got the 77 car there at Truan, which is absolutely fantastic. So we've got Banks, Truan, Magilton, Crawford, McDonald, Reddy Rose, Lowndes, Mahoney, Hill, Mick Magilton and James Kenner in the 66 cars. So the track looks fairly shiny, but it is dry, ladies and gentlemen. Even turn 4 is. So from after that power rain we had yesterday morning.
You've forgotten your own weather cell, mate. It's a power storm.
Power storm.
Power storm.
Jane Bunn even rang me up and said, David, bring it on.
Bring it on.
Yes, come on down. Oh, my God, a commentary box, ladies and gentlemen. You won't believe it. Someone is feeding us some beautiful-looking cakes.
And I got my arm chopped off by Dave Amor reaching for one. How's that? There's no respect at all. And this is going live to air too, Dave. No one wants to know about the cupcake that you're scoffing into.
Oh, they have a look at this. Darren just inhaled one of them, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't even take the wrapper off.
Big thanks to the MG Car Club for bringing cupcakes to the commentary booth. Something to do under safety car. Have a cupcake. In Days of Thunder, hey, you can't come in right now. We're having ice cream cones. We're having carrot cake cupcakes.
Beautiful. Thank you all very, very much.
So, gee, I hope the crew in the Blendline van are going to get one of these because we'll get kicked out any minute now if we start scoffing into them. Here comes... Here's the race. Well, we've just let race control know that, so they'll try and deliver some down to the van, I am sure. Here goes the historic touring cars. We've got the cars clear of the track now, and we're probably poised for a race restart there. Here comes the car on the back of the flatbed. That's around turn 4, so we've got the best part of 3/4 of a lap still to get underway. And we've got, it's gone time certain. So what are we going to get, a green flag and a checkered, or are we going to get a checkered with a yellow?
Yeah, well, let's hopefully we can be under green. It'd be nice to have that
let's hope the Daytona 500 tomorrow doesn't finish under yellow and checkered, eh?
Yep, that's for sure. So we'll just have to wait and see. Safety car there coming up. Racer Industries up the back chute. Just trying to have a look. We said safety car there. Waiting on race control to tell us.
Don't forget, next round of the Trico Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships is called a March 29-30. And then we've got Phillip Island on the 16, 17, 18. That'll be great. Looking forward to that because the Australian Formula 3 Championship will be round 1 being unloaded at that particular event. So looking forward to that. And safety car lights are off. Sandown. We're back here in August 21, 22, 23, 24, something like that. We're here for a week by the looks of things. That'll be the Sports Sedan round. Phillip Island for the Victorian Mini Club will be October 3, 4 and 5. And don't forget the Trophy Tour, Winton, April 11, 12 and 13. I think that's still happening. I'm not sure. We need to get that one confirmed and booking of accommodation. And here we go. We just had a whisper in the air. Last lap, 1 lap, like a club sprint, Dave. Just going to have 1 live lap. So if someone does a Hail Mary, they can't be blamed, can they?
No, that's for sure. You might as well say she's a qualifying lap. Here we go. The 68 car down the inside, but pulls in behind there. That's common sense.
Trengo back down through the gearbox. He's going to have to get the heads off that car to work out why that blue smoke is coming out on the downshift there and on trailing throttle. So you're not going to get through a whole season with that colour smoke coming out your exhaust pipe. And here's the HQs. They've got a full pack and they are working as a pack.
Yeah, they certainly is. Banks has gone through. True. And Gilton's trying to go around the outside. Now he's up to turn 2. He's on the outside. Oh, Truant won't have a bar of that at the moment, and we've got Crawford right in behind him. Truant is going to make Magilton earn it, pushing right out wide. So we've got Truant, Magilton, Crawford. Here comes Crawford. Here comes Crawford up the back chute. The home of horsepower, you can see it side by side. We've got Crawford beside Magilton. In front of them, we've got Truant, and then we've got Banks, the fastest plumber this weekend in the HQ. And the 76 car looking absolutely a dream.
I reckon Andy Magilton's just been handed out a bit of his own action there by Warren Truant. That was every bit of Andy Magilton as our historic touring cars get to the line. Brent Trengrove celebrates 6 from 6 here at Sandown. 3 from 3 this weekend, 3 from 3 last year. What a historic moment for the driver of that Camaro. Jeff Monday into P2. Peter Muleman home for a spot on the podium in the last race of the weekend. And then it's Jones. We're getting a good look at this HQ field. Onto the straight they come. It's the 76 leading the way.
Certainly is, and Warren Truant there in the 77 car. Magilton can't do anything about that. He's got to hold off Crawford, the flying fast Crawford there. Crawford in 4th position. Magilton there in the 14 car, the Minis car, rounds out the top 3. So we've got 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Then it comes out to Crawford, McDonald, Lowndes, Mahoney, Hill, Mick Magilton and James Kenner. And Tony Hubbard and Trengo, they did not finish due to that bit of an incident there at turn 2. But thank you very much, Trico, and everyone, all the round sponsors. All right, so thank you all very, very much for what you've done this weekend. And Sandown and all the volunteers, thank you very, very much for Tyre Power and all those guys that are on board the HQ Holdens and the historics this weekend. And there's still more racing to come, Matt. And it's absolutely fantastic. Darren's just gone over the back to inhale that cupcake, ladies and gentlemen. From us here from the HQs, thank you all very, very much. But we've got plenty more happening. Matt right beside me will take on. Still got a bit of cream on the chin, but we won't have a problem. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Dave Amor. It's been fantastic to have your company up in the comms box. What a chaotic finish that was to the first of the afternoon events here on Sunday at round 1 of the Trico Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships, obviously presented by Trico. Seeing you through, and of course 888 Home Loans, our sponsors who have been around for a long time. We can't do it without them as well. As we see the historics filter into the pit lane, so just a reminder, Brent Trengrove clean sweeping the round there, ahead of Jeff Monday and Peter Muleman 1st, 2nd and 3rd, as we see the HQ field piling through the back of the circuit as well. So, contrary to popular belief, Darren Smith actually left his cupcake up here. He'll be looking forward to that when he gets back up here. He's actually gone downstairs because hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be getting some live crosses from the podium sitters of that first race. We'll be downstairs now. Let's hear from the drivers.
How good's that? Brent Trengrove, 6 from 6 last year, 3 again here today. Terrific. You're loving Sandown, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been very good to us. Big thank you to all the flaggies, all the volunteers. Big thanks to the crew for keeping the car together too. You got to finish to get those wins. So yeah, it's been great.
Let's see if he can do it again next year. Winners are grinners. Brett Trengrove. Let's go back to the next of the left hookers. This is Jeff Monday. Needs very little introduction to race fans around the country. 2nd, how are you going to be able to catch this guy in front of you at Sandown?
We'll keep working at it, mate. We'll get him eventually. It's been a great race, so good fun.
Terrific. That is the guy who's come across the line, Jeff Mundy, a veteran of Australian motorsport. And we come down to Pete Muleman, a guy who's been getting his head right, and it's come together right at the end of the weekend. Well done, Pete.
Thanks very much, mate. I'm really stoked to salvage something from the weekend. You know, we started off really strong and absolutely went backwards after race 1 and just had to get my head back in the game. So really happy to get on the podium, mate. I'm stoked.
Congratulations. We'll see you at the next round.
Since being the first to make wipers over a century ago, Trico has protected drivers in all kinds of weather. Torrential downpours, gale force winds, wintry blasts, even when it's raining cats and dogs. Hey, who came up with that phrase anyway? Just imagine if it actually started... Alright. No matter what the conditions, Trico wipers maintain maximum windshield contact. for safe, clear driving visibility, even in the harshest weather metaphors.